And welcome back to Washington Commanders Insider. Today we're talking about Terry McLaurin making the top 100 NFL list. Next, we're going to be talking about preseason football for the Washington Commanders as they get set to start here on Friday. So we're going to be talking about what to watch for. And lastly, we're talking about new stadium momentum. And so before we jump into all of that, I first want to remind you to hit that subscribe button, just like Jaden Daniels is going to be hitting Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, Zach Ertz, and many others for multiple touchdowns this upcoming season. And so in exchange for hitting that subscribe button, I'm going to give you nothing but daily content around the Washington Commanders. And so make sure that you hit that like, you hit that subscribe, and you join the Washington Commanders Insider family as we talk nothing but Washington Commanders football. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into it. And let's start with the Commanders get top 100 NFL honors. And so if you've not got a chance to see this, Terry McLaurin ranked number 52 on the NFL top 100 list this year. And so last season, he was number 97. And so he goes up 45 spots. And so a big jump here for Terry McLaurin. And I must say, I'm not really surprised here because Terry McLaurin had a spectacular season, fifth 1,000-yard receiving season for him, had the single season franchise record with the touchdowns at 13. And also, too, got a chance to see this stat here on commanders.com where it says that, Terry McLaurin is the only wide receiver since Gary Clark to have multiple Pro Bowls. And so that is another key aspect here. So McLaurin became the first Washington receiver to be named to multiple Pro Bowls since Gary Clark. And so just letting you know, just the type of work that Terry McLaurin is putting in here for this franchise. And look, man, this is huge because we also have some other players that joined Terry McLaurin. And when we're talking about those other players, we have Bobby Wagner, who's coming in here at number 74. We have Frankie Louvu, who came in at number 70. And then we also have Laramie Tunsil at number 86. And what is encouraging about this is that this is number 52, and I believe September the 1st is when the last 10 are going to be announced here. And so there is still a chance to see other Washington Commanders join the list. I'd certainly love to see where Jaden Daniels is going to end up on this list. I do think that he is going to get there, but let's see what happens here. But this is exactly why you have to be excited about this franchise and really this season, because you already have, so many players here that are on this NFL top 100 list, and this roster around them is even better than it was a season ago. And so I just cannot wait to see this thing take off here and get started. So hopefully, too, Terry McLaurin does get a deal done and he's back out there with the team. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's take a look here at preseason football. And we're talking about what to watch for in this Friday preseason opener against the New England Patriots. And so when we're talking about what to watch for, I'm looking to see some players, yes, but I'm also looking to see some schemes as well. And so let's start there. And so the first thing that I'm looking to see from a scheme standpoint is defense. I want to see what this scheme looks like on defense. And so I know that we're not going to have the starters out there and everything else, but this is year 2 for Joe Witt Jr. And so I want to see, do we see some of those run fit principles in game 1 in preseason? Because I think that when you're talking about going out there and stacking days, whether it's practice or preseason, really you're setting the tone. And so this is a setting the tone type of moment. So I get it. It's preseason football out there. You're not going to see the main players and things like that, but make no mistake about it. This is very important, especially when you're talking about the install of the defense and then also to the offense. And so that's what you're looking for, I think, from a scheme standpoint. And for me personally, I want to start with the defense. Yes, I do want to see the offense. Maybe we see some more of those wrinkles that we're going to see in the season. Who knows if the offense is going to show really all the tricks that they have up their sleeve. I doubt it. It's preseason football. But I think for defense, mainly I'm looking to see what the principle is against the run and seeing if they're able to stop that. And so next thing that I'm looking forward to seeing here is the players. And so one of the players that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing is going to be Bill, which is Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. And so they call him Bill here for short. But with Bill, what I'm looking forward to seeing with him is just, can he be RB1 material here? Because we're seeing the clips, we're reading about it and everything else, and it looks great. But now this is another huge test for Bill here, because he's got to come out now in game speed, and he's got to show, okay, he can be elusive, he can be powerful, he can also be a guy that can handle some passes and things like that. Let's see what they elect to do with him on offense. But I think that this is going to be a huge step here for Bill here, because I think that if he comes out and he looks good, I think he takes just another step forward to really being first a change in pace back here to Brian Robinson Jr., and then also two, potentially maybe RB1. Like, he might actually get the job here. And so I'm betting on him. I've said it before, as a fantasy football player, I think that, Bill here is going to be a guy that could be a steal, much like he was a steal so far, I think, in this NFL draft coming out of round 7. And so let's see what we see with him. So far, it's looked good in preseason and everything else. But now when you get to the game, it's not like it's a controlled practice environment now. So this is game speed, the game clock, all the pressure, crowd, all that stuff like that. So let's see if it translates now to the NFL level. And then also to, the other rookies. I mean, clearly we want to see what not Laramie Tunsil, but what Josh Conley Jr. is going to do. And does he handle, the NFL very well here in his first snaps? And then also to Trey Amos. And so that's another guy that I think could really start for this team immediately. Let's see if they go ahead and throw him out there. And so let's see what he looks like at NFL game speed and the hitting and all that stuff like that. So super excited to see these players. And then one more thing too to note with players, not just the players that we know about. I'm also looking forward to seeing if we see an undrafted gem, if they can actually flash here for the Washington Commanders. Because when I think back of an undrafted gem, I think of a guy like James Thrash from back in the day. And so if you don't remember James Thrash, he was an undrafted rookie, I believe, in 97, and he played for us 97 to 2000. He also played a little bit of time with the Philadelphia Eagles as well. But the one thing about James Thrash is that he was terrific in special teams. He was terrific as far as the speed that he displayed. And I can just remember back in the day just reading about him, and he eventually went ahead and made the team. And so in his most successful season with Washington, he registered that in 2000. He had 50 catches for 653 yards and 2 touchdowns. And once again, I think that he was really a special teams ace here. But point being here, that's what you're looking for in preseason. You're looking for this undrafted gold. And so I think that that is definitely something that we should be looking for in preseason. And so you guys let me know your thoughts there. And lastly, I wanted to talk about this new stadium momentum here. And so if you've not got a chance to see this, I did not talk about this when this happened, but the vote, I believe, became official on Friday here. So yes, Friday, August the 1st. And it looks like that the Commanders and then also too, DC has kind of come to an agreement on the first votes here, a 9-3 vote. And so they're going to need one more vote, I believe, in September to, I believe, go ahead and pretty much finalize this thing. But they got a huge step here as far as moving forward and building this new stadium here. And so super excited to see the new stadium get back to RFK. Just remember back in the day, fans being in the stadium and just jumping up and down, and you could see the thing rocking and things like that. And so clearly, I'm sure the stadiums have changed since then. Actually, I know they have. And so you're not going to see that. But that is just what I remember, with that RFK site. And obviously the success that this team has had at RFK and winning Super Bowls and things like that. And so huge first step here to see that the stadium is well on its way. Let's see what happens here in September. But this is some great news here. And so anyway, you guys let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking here about the new stadium here, getting that initial win here in the first votes. And then next, let me know what you guys are looking for here as far as preseason football, which is getting ready to start here Friday against the New England Patriots. Remember, I talked about possibly finding some undrafted gold, like a player back in the day like James Thrash. Also, too, talking about our rookies, mainly talking about Bill, which is Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. Can he take a bit of a step forward for RB1? And also, too, I want to see from a scheme standpoint what this defense is looking like as far as the the run fits and things like that? Do we see that cohesiveness that we're going to need to take a step forward as a team on that side of the football? And so I think that I'm super excited to see what we're going to look like here on defense. And then lastly, let me know what you guys are thinking about Terry McLaurin cracking the top 100 list. I don't think it's a surprise here with 17 out there. This guy handles his business, and so he had a great season. We're hoping that we can get Terry McLaurin paired up with Deebo Samuel and this offense, and I just think that they are set to really take a huge step here. And so you guys let me know in the comments here what you guys are thinking. And as we always say, look, go Commanders, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.